What's up, Business Freedom Podcast listeners? The title of today's podcast is something that you can always turn to this episode if you're feeling mentally and physically exhausted. And so the title is, Are You Mentally and Physically Exhausted? And I want to kind of go through what I mean by that and how it's shown up in my business and my personal life and what I've done about it, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and 6 things, a formula, a 6-step formula, six things you should focus on so you are staying out of the exhaustion zone mentally and physically. You're no good to anybody if you're mentally and physically exhausted. You cannot push your business forward. You cannot show up great as a parent or as a spouse or a good friend or alive in your faith or any of that. If you're mentally and physically exhausted. So for me, I look back on my business growth journey, getting into real estate 2007, hiring my first assistant in 2008, 2009, brought on my first buyer's agent. That next year, hired a couple misfits, a couple good agents in 2010. That year we did 118 sides. And then I think I hired one more administrator and a couple more agents, let maybe one agent go. We did 178 that next year. So looking at that part of my journey, I didn't have any sales experience when all that happened. I had never built a business before. I've never marketed anything or generated a lead or scripted, like followed a script or any of that. When I look back on that, because that's most of you that are listening to this podcast or wanting to do something like that, or you're in the midst of doing something like that. It's going from like a really busy, super productive agent with maybe one assistant and one buyer agent. That's me in 2009 doing 58 deals. To 2 years later, it was 178 deals. Yeah. And then January of 2012, that next year, the year we did 248, I stepped out. That was my last deal ever in January 2012. Even when I bought and sold a personal residence in 2017, I was not the agent on record because I had just committed to not doing production. For me, that's what I wanted to do. It's not for everybody. Some of you love production. You just want to do less of it as your team does more of it. And so when I look back on that phase of growth and I think about how mentally and physically exhausted I was all the time, I wish I knew what I did now in terms of some of the things I didn't focus on and I sacrificed as part of my daily and weekly schedule that I now have the benefit of hopefully imparting on all of you to do these things. So there's 6 things I want to go through. I think there are 6, and I'm going to go through them. I want you to write them down. I want you to make sure you're making room for all of these things and you're tracking all of these things in your daily, weekly rituals and calendar. And these are absolute must time block. Some of them don't even take any time. So I'll go through them here. So the first 4 are really around taking care of your physical body. So in order to show up at a high level as a business person, a father, a husband, to be able to pursue relationships outside of that, if you're a person of faith, how can you maybe get up a little earlier to have some quiet time with God? If you're in part of a biblical community, how do you engage with a men's group or a women's group? Like there's all these things we could do, we want to do. We want to show up in all these different areas. Yet if we don't take care of our physical body, we don't have a shot at doing it. So there are 4 things we have to do consistently so that we can show up with the level of vitality, with a level of energy and enthusiasm, and to be able to engage in all of these different roles that we have. It comes down to 4 things we need to do with our physical body. So number 1 is sleep. I wish there was a way to hack sleep. There is not a way to hack sleep. Even if you Google, how do I hack sleep, or how can I sleep 4 hours a night and still, it's not possible. All the studies show that 7 to 9 hours for an adult, 7 is the minimum, 9, some people need 9 hours of sleep to sort of reboot their brain. While you sleep, your brain is rebooting. and your body is regenerating and rejuvenating. And so there's no way to sustainably achieve at a high level by sacrificing your sleep. And you can send me an article. I won't care to read it because I've tested this in my own body. You can send me an article that Elon Musk, only sleeps 4 hours a night and he's super successful. That dude has been divorced more times than I ever want to be divorced. I've never been divorced. Don't want to ever get divorced. And he works like 140 hours a week. Like I don't want that. I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to model after that. So sleep is number one, 7 to 9 hours. If you need to get up with a 5, like if you need to get up at 5 a.m., you've got to be sleeping. You're already sleeping by 10 p.m. So you got to be in bed by 9:30. Screens off at probably 8:30, so your body can get ready to sleep. So number one is sleep. There's no way around it. I would just take my advice on that one. I've done it where I've sacrificed sleep. When we had in the early days, we had 2 young kids in 2007, 2010. Anders were born in 2007, and 2010 was Kendal. So I definitely know what it's like to have no sleep and be sleep deprived. And I was working full 50 to 60 hours in real estate. Then I was working probably 10 to 15 hours as the owner of that growing real estate business. I was doing systems work in the wee hours of the night, 10 p.m. to 2, 3 a.m., multiple nights per week, because I just couldn't fit it into the systems weren't built like they're built in real estate B school now. So that's number one is sleep. Number two is hydration. If you're watching the video here, you can see it's early in my day. So I drink a gallon of water per day. Most of you need to drink at least a gallon of water per day. I should really drink, if I'm working out consistently, which I am, I should be drinking about 6 liters per day. So a gallon is 4 liters, and that's about what I stay consistent with. I fill a gallon up at the beginning part of the day, and my goal is to drink that all before the day's over. Chronic dehydration is probably the thing you should go to. It's probably number one, even before sleep. Hydration and sleep are really tied. Those two things, if you're sluggish, you fix your sleep, fix your hydration. Chronic dehydration, the first symptom is like a sluggishness, a lack of energy, and a lack of clarity. So you spend a week of drinking a gallon a day, you'll pee a lot, you'll get a lot of impurities out, and you'll also be way more clear, way more energized and engaged. So that's number two. Number three is what you put into your body in terms of your nutrition. Again, you can study everything you want. You can study all the diets. They all say that their thing is the end all be all. There's one resource I'll give you that really, over a bunch of years, I've been learning more and more about plant-based whole food diets as the way to maximum health. So if you're thinking about maximum health, it's hard to advocate for red meat. It's hard to advocate for even fish with all the sort of toxicity levels and mercury and all that. I read a book. I've done a lot on this. One book that was really digestible was Eat to Live by Joel Fuhrman. It gives you a 6-week challenge in the book for you to test for yourself if this is something that's going to have an impact on your life. So I'm probably 95% plant-based whole food. We went to a holiday party where I did have Christmas ham. I think it was a honey baked ham, it was amazingly awesome. My stomach hurt like tremendously because I've been clean for quite a while now. So I'm not off of meat 100%. It's a full 95%. I've gone 30 days recently here without eating any meat. So plant-based whole food is just the way to maximum health. And I'm not looking for a challenge on that or an argument. You need to find out what is super healthy for you. It can't be anything processed. It can't have a lot of sugar. Shouldn't really drink a whole bunch of alcohol, any of that. So that's number 3 is nutrition. Number 4 is moving your physical body. And 2 things you want to focus on here. It's weight, muscle training and cardio. I do 2 45-minute cardio sessions a week, and at least 2 45-minute strength sessions. And typically I'll do 60 minutes times 2, 60 minutes times 2. And as you age, I'm 46, as you age, you lose muscle mass. And that is the thing that will give you not the most, assuming you're healthy and you don't have some like cancer or heart disease going into your later years, your physical, the amount of muscle you have is the thing that'll keep you strong and vital when you're 65, 70, 75, 80. So in your 40s and 50s, you need to be building that muscle because your body is naturally losing muscle mass. And then cardio is just for cardiovascular health. For me, it's maintaining 132 to 136 beats per minute. And it's, yeah, so it's not going crazy. I can actually do that for 45 to 60 minutes. And I could like listen to a book and even have a conversation. And so it's not doing intense, cardio where your heart rate is 150 to 165. It's just a nice easy jog. And for me, it's like 5.2 to 5.5 miles per hour on the treadmill. And so that's number 4. Number 5 is a weekly clarity break. So this is 60 to 90 minutes in your calendar where you ask yourself the question, what's working and what's not working in the different areas of your life. In the last podcast, we went through the good, bad, and ugly about my 2019. We went through the areas of life. There's 8 areas where you could focus on and just ask yourself once a week, what's working, what's not working in these areas: business, finances, your role as a spouse, as a parent, in your faith journey, your physical body, fun or self-care, and your emotional well-being. And then there's specific questions you can ask about your business. Is there anything that's keeping you off track? Are you working toward a plan? There's lots of stuff that you can sort of work on specific to the business and go deeper there. We have a list of questions that we give our members, so they have a set of questions that they follow for their clarity breaks. That regular rhythm of self-reflection built into your calendar will have you feeling like you're moving these areas of your life forward. So an unexamined life is not it's not going to end well. Like if you're just kind of charging along and you're not thinking about the areas of life that matter, it's not going to end well. You're just going to kind of drift away from the things that you really, truly want. So that's number 5. And number 6 is, and I covered it, I guess 1 or 2 episodes ago. It's part of this regimen though, is a practice of gratitude. Really super easy. The psychology of fulfillment and contentment you'll get around a daily practice of gratitude is profound. And this is like, just trust me, do it for 30 days, see how you feel. 5-minute journal. It's a little app on my iPhone with a 5 in it. 5-minute journal. There's a paper version as well if you like writing that you can order. The app I think is like $5 or something like that. And it just challenges you in the morning to take a few minutes to say, what are the 3 things you're grateful for? And then at night, what are the 3 amazing things that happened today? And you attach an image to it as well. And I go through this with my kids. We do a high, a low, and something you're looking forward to every day with my kids. And we cannot end a day without going through that process. So that's something you can do with your team members, with your family members as well. So those are the 6. I think this is the order I did them in. Number 1 is sleep. Number 2 is hydration. Number 3 is your diet. Number 4 is your physical body, moving it. Number 5 is clarity breaks. And number 6 is a practice of gratitude. So if you're feeling mentally and physically exhausted, maybe not all of those at once because you're likely to fail. Maybe every 30 days, layer in one of those 6. So 6 months from now, you'll have all 6 of those practices going, and you will notice that you're never going to be mentally and physically exhausted. You'll be able to step up in the areas of life that matter most. And so take the challenge, do one at a time. And if you're already doing one sort of marginally well, maybe start with that one and just get that one solid and then build the next one, build the next one, build the next one. It's called habit stacking. Every 30 days, I'm looking to build a better and different habit that is going to affect my life in very, very positive ways and affect the lives of others around me. So that, my friends, is all I've got for you today. If you're at the point in your business journey where your business is not serving you, you feel more enslaved to the business, you've achieved what our industry considers traditional success. On the low end, people that do the best in real estate B school are 300,000 to 500,000 GCI. They've already got administrative support. They probably have some leverage on the buy side. Someone who knows that sustainable systems and empower people, even if it's a small team, you need someone to take over, buying, showing agent activities, or, a marketing coordinator or listing client care. Like, you need to amp the admin side of your team, and that you can bring a few agents on to grow the team as well. So 3 to 500,000 on the low side. And we help members that, a guy came in recently as a team that will do 5 million GCI. And there are things that are just broken in the business that we're helping. So anywhere from 500 to 5 million GCI, that's our sweet spot. That's what we serve. Folks that are building amazing teams, that are providing amazing value to their buyer and seller clients and their team members and their communities. If that's you, and you know that you just need help doing some of that, go to realestatebschool.com, inquire about our pilot program. It's 30 days where we help you build a 3-year vision, a 1-year plan. We break that down into the first 90 days, and then we land that thing on every week. What should you track in the business so that you're on the right track to crush the quarter, to crush the year, to achieve that 3-year vision in all the areas of your life that matter. So go to realestatebschool.com and ask about the pilot program, and we'll see you around.